Hello, dear friends. It's a very big pleasure to meet you now, and this is the release of the day. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can find a lot of interesting news about music. Hello, dear friends. It's pleasure to meet you here tonight. And now in the studio together with me, very nice artist. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well. You're okay? I sound a bit croaky, but I'm fine.
Good. It's really nice that today we can talk about you and about your music. And if you're ready, let me know and we start our beautiful interview.
Let's do it.
Great. Okay, and first question, your name.
So, my name's Kris Halpin, aka Dyskinetic. Dyskinetic is like my sort of stage name because although I'm a solo artist, there's two really boring reasons. Well, one boring, one more interesting reason. So, everyone spells Kris Halpin wrong. So, once I saw my name in lights above a venue spelt wrong, I was like, okay, that's got to go. And I needed a name that sounded kind of cool and edgy. And Dyskinetic comes from the fact that actually I'm a disabled musician and I have a condition called dyskinetic cerebral palsy. So I was like, well, I'll just call it what? I'll just do that. That's just as simple as that. So it's just like a really simple sort of label of like, I have this and it affects my music in this way. So that became the band name.
Oh, thank you. Nice answer. Where are you from?
I am from the home of metal, I'd like to say in Birmingham, in the United Kingdom.
Okay, your music style.
Yeah, my music style is a right old mashup, innit? So my school days were kind of like the Britpop thing happened, which I never really got with, like the whole Oasis thing and stuff. And then I discovered Radiohead, and I was like, oh, this is my version of like the Britpop thing. But growing up, I was a big sort of metalhead. And then when the kind of new metal thing kind of happened, I definitely got back to that. Like, I mean, bands like Linkin Park and Korn, and when all that kind of happened, that was the big influence on me. And then I always loved electronic music, like Bjork, Massive Attack, really into Apparat at the moment. And so that is basically where my music lands, in this very weird kind of mashup between sort of the songwriting of like British bands like Radiohead and the electronic production of things like Apparat, and then just these kind of flourishes of really kind of heavy stuff, because I just like big, loud, heavy guitars. So that's how I end up making the weird mashup that is Dyskinetic.
And if, for example, to say like in short way your music style, how you subscribe?
Yeah, that
in
would be
short
good.
way, like.
Imagine if I had a short way of saying it. I guess it's electronic rock music. Electronic by necessity, because I use a lot of electronic instruments to make my music, but I like to think that it's a kind of rock music.
Oh, great, thank you. Okay, the last song you listened to?
The last song that I listened to, I went on a big Smashing Pumpkins deep dive on the way. I had a really long drive yesterday, so I was listening to a lot of Smashing Pumpkins. The new single by them, which the name of which has fell out of my head. Big Wild, is it? Something like that? Big Wild? I don't know. The new single from Smashing Pumpkins, it's really good. It's really heavy, quite unexpected.
Wow, interesting. I need to listen to it very soon. The last movie you watched?
Last movie I watched? I watched the most recent Jurassic World movie with my kids last night.
It's a good movie, actually.
They like dinosaurs.
Nice.
It's an easy win.
And your favorite TV series?
My favourite TV series? I have so many. I'm a huge fan of a thing called Orphan Black. I don't know if anyone knows that show. It's a sort of sci-fi thing. It's set in the US, a BBC thing about human cloning and stuff. That's a really amazing show. Tatiana Maslany, who everyone knows from She-Hulk. She was in that before the current thing with the MCU, which I know nothing about. I like that show so much, I named my daughter after one of the characters.
Wow. It means you really like this character if you name your daughter.
Yeah, right.
What is her name?
Kasima.
Oh, beautiful.
So if anyone knows that show, they'll know who that is. There you go.
Very beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, which artist influenced you most of all?
Wow, that's a good question. Yeah, there isn't like one clear artist that. Oh gosh, where does it all begin? I suppose if I was really like, I had to pick somebody, the person who made me want to pick up a guitar in the first place was Kurt Cobain.
Oh, wow.
That was like, I'm gonna do that. Like once I discovered Nirvana, I was like, yeah, no, I want to do music.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Okay, now we talk a little bit more about food. What is your favorite dish?
My favorite food, it's always going to be sushi. If there's sushi available, that's it. I've got to have sushi. I love Japan and Japanese culture. I went on tour in Japan in 2019, so that was really exciting. And sushi in Japan makes sushi in the UK look like a sort of pale imitation, sadly. You've had real sushi?
Oh, sushi is nice. But do you like, for example, Italian kitchen?
Yeah, that would probably be number 2 on the list. We're big on Italian cooking in our house. Yeah, for sure. Kids enjoy that sort of thing. One thing I can't do, in fact, at home it's definitely Italian, because one thing I can't do is make sushi. If we're having sushi, we got to eat out. I can't. I've tried learning to roll the rice and do all the stuff. I just can't do it. So yeah, Italian for the win at home, and then eating out is sushi.
Okay. Now, please explain your music in a sentence, or even better, in a word.
In a word, that's a great question. Spooky.
Spooky.
Wow.
Very, very, very particular, but nice.
Okay, good, cool.
Okay, have you played any notable gigs, festival, or other events?
Yeah, so I've been really lucky over the last few years. Most people know me for playing a thing called the Mew gloves. I can't actually show you them because they're in the Science Museum in Manchester at the moment. They're actually on display. So I've been playing the Mew gloves for a number of years, which has taken me all over the world. Probably the highlight of my career in terms of gigs was playing at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. And there's thousands of people there, and it was very exciting because I didn't think anybody really knew who I was in the US. So that was quite an exciting trip. I've been all over Europe and been to Japan. And so, yeah, it's been really good. Lots of big festivals and things like that. And concert halls, quite a few big ones. Obviously, the Kennedy Center being the most exciting one. That was a bit of a career highlight.
You have good experience, quite huge experience of performing.
Yeah, certainly. Late in life, once I started doing the glove thing, because I have this hand impairment, the dyskinetic cerebral palsy that I was talking about, which means that I've struggled to play traditional instruments more and more as I've got older. And so I was working with a great charity in London called Drake Music to find a new way to make music. And they were talking to Imogen Heap. I don't know if you know of her. She's a sort of Grammy award-winning superstar who's worked with Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift, people like that. And she'd invented these gloves that could be used to make music. So they learn your movements, and then they can be any sound can come from the gloves. And so I started playing those, and then that really sort of took off. I went from, in a few months, I'd say a few months, it was more like weeks. It was like playing to 2 people and a dog in a pub to sort of people stopping me in the supermarket with like, you're that guy with the gloves, aren't you? Like, it really sort of took off very, very quickly. So yeah, it was good. It's been really good. And it's a long way from sort of 2 people and a dog in a pub in Birmingham to the Kennedy Center.
Wow, very, very interesting. And as a question, what do you think about talent show?
Talent shows, yeah, like I'm not anti the talent show thing. I think it's really like a lot of musicians from my sort of background would say that it's a common thing that people say it's killing music, and I just don't really see that as true. What I think is strange about it is that the whole story, like I've had a few talent shows, some of the big ones in the UK have contacted me about being on them, and at first thing I thought that was a bit strange because I wasn't auditioning for them. The fact that they contacted me saying, will you come on to the, insert name of famous TV show. So I thought, well, that's a bit odd if you're asking me to go on it. I thought I was supposed to audition. But then it became really clear that like a lot of the story around it becomes like the sort of selling point, and it was obvious that they wanted to do a sort of, here's this poor disabled man, this is his last chance at music to go and audition for this thing, and there'll be clips of me in my wheelchair with Coldplay playing in the background. I thought this isn't really my jam, so I find it a bit weird. I don't really know much about TV, so I just sort of look at it as a bit of that seems a bit odd. Like they like to really milk the sort of the backstories of artists. I think it's a shame that people see that as the only route. Some people really do see that as the only route into music is to go on a TV show, and I don't think that's true, of course. But I don't hate them. Some good stuff. Hey, Harry Styles, I mean, he came through a talent TV show, and that latest record is brilliant, so it's not all bad.
Okay. In what you believe? In general, in what you believe? Like people believe in God, in music, in power, in themselves. And what you believe?
Music is the all-consuming thing for me. I just believe in music as a way of. I read a great quote from Tom Robinson the other day about, and I'm going to get it wrong now. Music gives people the confidence to, push for change and to, be themselves. And I thought, music is such a big source of confidence for me. And once I discovered music, I was like, hey, I'm quite good at this. It's a big deal. Yeah, all roads lead to music for me.
What's your best quality and what's your weak spot?
My best quality? Blimey, I don't know. I guess that would be a question for my family or something. I don't know. I'm quite. I'd like to think I'm got a degree of kind of empathy, and I feel like I'm a good people person in the sense that I can be trusted. And I think that the nature of what I do, working with a lot of people with mental health issues and disabled people, I think it requires a certain sensitivity to people from different backgrounds and the kind of struggles that people face. So I feel like I'm okay at that. What was the other question? That's
what's your weak spot?
My weak spot. I suppose I get a little bit, maybe it's an artist thing, I don't know. I have this real nihilistic streak, and sometimes I just have these big moments of like, is there any point to any of this? What am I doing? Like, I get consumed by big questions a lot. Like, is there any point to any of this? Music normally helps.
Nice, because sometimes if you ask good point, people became very shy, they don't know what to answer, or weak points, they don't know what to answer too. And it's nice to see reaction and how people actually can answer for these two questions. It's like black and white,
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, now our favorite question. Please sing to us 15 seconds of one of your favorite song a cappella.
Oh, blimey! I think my throat is too croaky for that. No, I'm going to just politely decline. I don't think anybody needs to hear my croaky singing at this time in the morning. Go and listen to what was the last song? Just go and listen to the new Smashing Pumpkins song and imagine me singing it in my croaky voice.
Okay. And now our actually final question. Tell to us about your music project and your future plans.
Cool. Okay. So then after talking lots about rock music influences, my new single actually is just totally the opposite. I think maybe it's a strange thing to have done. Like I had this idea. So I'm working on my album at the moment, and I had this idea that there's lots of big, loud, heavy moments, and I needed a little quiet song. Which is why I wrote a song on the ukulele, which is, of course, the single that is out at the moment. It's called McCartney 4. And the idea was that it was just a bit of breathing space on the album, but I played it to a few people and they thought it was really strong and catchy. So I've put it out as a single, which, in retrospect, is maybe a strange choice to go for something so quiet, because it's definitely not representative of the rest of the album. But it's been really well received, and it is I quite enjoy the song, and I've never played a ukulele before, so I just thought I've tried to do that because I wanted to do something a bit different to all the gloves and all the other sort of heavy stuff that I was doing. So yeah, it's a funny little song, but I think it's quite sweet. It's a love song, really.
Okay, and I want to tell you thank you so much for your time, for this nice interview, and for very nice and interesting answers. Because it's really good when, we can talk and you can explain to your fans and the audience much more about you, because it's always nice to hear and know better your actually favorite musicians. Thank you so much. And just what song are we going to listen to now?
Cool. So this is the new single by me, Dyskinetic. Oh, sorry. Can I do that again? My camera turns off after 25 minutes. How rubbish is that? Sync. So, this is the new single by me, Dyskinetic. This is called McCartney 4.
Okay, and enjoy the music, dear audience. And thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Back when I was cruel, I had 1,000 things to say. None of them were kind, and none of it was good. You took my broken heart and you rolled it up and you let it fall away. And now I don't know who I am. I'm not ready to give in to you. But when my heart returns, I'm gonna roll it on back to you. I'm gonna roll it on back to you. The kleptomanic heart received, I sing myself to sleep. I stopped and took a breath to hear the awful things I'd said. If I can find a beat of good inside my broken heart, that you pretend that you can mend, just lie to me to keep me safe. You know what I will do. I'm gonna roll it on